subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
We'll make this Juneteenth and Pride all in one.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Juneteenth and Pride all in one.
No.
It's not. No, it's
The representation of intersectional identity. I am
Can you please stop
interested
the
in the
outbursts?
reaction.
We go actually.
I am too.
But yeah, Chicago is such a wonderful city. We will keep each other together. We will keep our city together. We will be united. And I think that's the theme, right? The theme for the Pride March this year. It was the theme for our Father's Day Artists of the Wall Festival at Loyola Park this year. It was
Look how
all
disrespectful
together
these
now.
people are.
And I
Look
think
how
that as we
disrespectful
face
these
division,
people are.
as
Please
we
clip this
bear
and
down
put it on the internet.
hatred, bigotry, people
Please,
moved
somebody
by their
clip this and
hatred
put it
and
on the
bigotry to
internet.
the
Just
point
make
of
this a short.
assassinating political leaders.
But that might
who are
happen.
standing up for our rights.
Mm-hmm. Keep it
People
up.
who can't figure out how to act within the
We just got Juneteenth in 21 and y'all gonna make it Juneteenth and Pride together? Exactly. Pride Month is okay, but to put Juneteenth with Pride Month, that's disrespectful to every black
right,
person.
that's
It sure is.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. That's disrespectful. I believe, but y'all cannot do that. That's not right.
That's right.
Juneteenth
That's right.
is Juneteenth.
That's right.
Y'all cannot do that. That's disrespectful to every slave. That's disrespectful to every person. Y'all never right. Disrespectful.
You can sit down or you're gonna have to leave.
Disrespectful.
Have a seat, Mike, please.
So, to clarify, this is a resolution for Pride Month.
Man.
Tell them to quit disrespecting us. We gotta listen to that. They gonna listen to us. I can leave. I don't care. I don't care because I'm gonna be black again tomorrow. Really? Look at this. About that, I'm gonna be black again tomorrow. I'm gonna be black again tomorrow. And Juneteenth ain't gonna be with black people tomorrow. That's right. It's gonna be the same thing tomorrow. Juneteenth is Juneteenth, and gay pride is that junk. It's gonna be the same thing tomorrow. Amen. Amen. Amen.
All right, we're in the building, guys. We are in the building. We're in the building. We're in the building. What's going on, man? We're here. We are in the building. Glad to have everybody in here, ladies and gentlemen. How are you living? Welcome to the Tap In. If you guys can hear me pretty good, everybody give me that thumbs up. If I can be heard loud and clear, I would love a thumbs up from all of you phenomenal people. We're going to chop it up heavy as we always do. A lot of people up in the room very early. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's going to be one of those goodies, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to chop it up heavy. Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let me shout out some of the regulars in here real quick. We have Miss Skyline, we have Sweets, we have Kurt, we have Yvette, we have the Black Republican, we have the Atavist, Sir Mike, KK, Brother Robbie Blue, our lovely, lovely, lovely Sister Brooke, Mr. Ernez, Love I Am, Black Alpha, Brother Marcel, Brother Twizzle, Great Black Shark in the building, FBA Furball, our good brother out there in Hawaii. Much respect. Respect to the law. Respect to you guys. All right. Everybody give me a retweet. Retweet and let everybody know we're live because we're going to be chopping it up. And as you know, family, it is now Juneteenth. We're celebrating Juneteenth. It is Juneteenth season. We actually celebrate Juneteenth the whole month of June. We celebrate the whole month. And family, have you guys noticed just the blatant and the desperate, not just co-opting of Juneteenth, but it's like vandalism. People are just vandalizing our Juneteenth holiday. We keep having to check people, and you should continue to keep checking them to make sure they put respect on our foundational Black American holiday. I saw a video of a sister. She was in an auto repair shop or something. There's a bunch of white people in there, some of the white employees. And they were talking about the bank being closed tomorrow or whatever. And they're like, why is the bank going to be closed? Well, there's Juneteenth. And they kind of made a slick remark. I couldn't really hear what the remark was, but it was kind of a slick remark about Juneteenth. And the sister was like, hey, hell no, y'all give me my truck. Let me get the hell up out of here. The sister walked out. She's like, nah, y'all not going to sit here and basically disrespect our holiday and think I'm going to do business with you. I love that. I love that energy. We got to keep having that kind of energy. We're not going to let nobody disrespect us, because when they disrespect our holiday that's centered around us, they're disrespecting us. Just be very clear. And they only do that with our holiday. We don't have too many federally recognized holidays. So people are just, it's a reluctant celebration, and they always have to try to impose all this other stuff. I saw some kind of city council meeting in Chicago, this looked like, and there was some woman up there talking about, yeah, we're going to tie in Juneteenth with Pride Month and LGBT. And the people in the audience was like, hell no. She's like, no, we got to do intersectionality. And then people are like, no, 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 no. Family, why do y'all think there's this just desperate desire to just vandalize and pillage our Juneteenth holiday? The cultural hijacking of it. See, we got to watch why people do this, and we have to stay on point and gatekeep and stop people from doing that. People try to act like you're going overboard. No, we are not going overboard. When you check people about the colors and all of that, that's important, because they try to give us a bunch of Africanized colors, and we say no, everything is going to be red, white, and blue. That's the colors of Juneteenth. Trinity, where Trinity, you in here, dear? Sister Trinity showed me a picture. They got a T-shirt, a Juneteenth T-shirt. I saw that picture, Trinity. I started to post it, but her and her guy got a T-shirt for Juneteenth, and it had a damn African map in the damn logo. What the hell? Oh, dude, and I saw a magazine out there in Colorado, like a newspaper magazine. It was like the faces of Juneteenth, and it was some damn East African women. What the hell? It was like literally some East African women in East African garb. They had on some East African outfits. Like how was that the face of Juneteenth? So family, listen, this cultural hijacking under the guise of solidarity has to be checked. Don't let folks try to hijack our lineage and holiday and then try to pretend they're doing it under solidarity. No, they're being very hostile. When they try to Africanize Juneteenth or Pan-Africanize it or something like that with African flags or clothes and messaging, even though people know that Juneteenth, that is a specific holiday about our lineage right here on this soil, about the delayed emancipation of foundational Black Americans in Texas. It has nothing to do with Africa, nothing to do with the Caribbean, nothing to do with no damn LGBT, nothing goddamn else. All right? This is a very specific lineage-based acknowledgement. And we're just not going to let people turn it into some kind of diluted, generic nothing burger. Because you don't do that bullshit with no other holidays. No other holiday is treated like some communal damn grab bag. They don't do that. With St. Patrick's Day parade, you don't do that. You don't add LGBT and pride with that. You don't add pride with Hispanic Heritage Month. You don't add all this other stuff with Hanukkah. You don't add it with Cinco de Mayo. You don't add it with them. But only when it comes to us, you got to throw all this other bullshit on there that ain't got nothing to do with what the holiday is about and the celebration is about. We have to gatekeep it. Don't let nobody tell you you're divisive. You're supposed to gatekeep it because that's about respect. Putting all that other stuff on it is an act of disrespect. Nothing more, nothing less. This thing is rooted in foundational Black American specific suffering and triumph. You got to respect that. You ain't got no choice. You're not going to put some unrelated agendas on the shit. You see, people got this real funny style game when they want to play with our history. I mean, at the Hidden History Museum, we rent the museum out. A lot of people rent it out for events all the time. All the time. We have all types of events there. And my thing is, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. It's all about respect. And people they give us pretty good money. Um, Yesterday, somebody I wasn't there. The my office assistant was there, but some white folks came down and they wanted to rent the museum for something. I don't know what it was, but we get inquiries all the time. And these people they were trying to throw some big money at us. But what they wanted to do something, they asked me, they were like, "Can we we want to rent we love the venue, we love it, but what we want to do, we want to have like a blank slate. So we want to cover up all the displays with white sheets and cover up the the display cases and the busts in there, so they wanted to cover it up." I'm like, "No, no, 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 just no." But no, 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 it's just we just want to get a different look, and it just we wanted to be a blank space, and we're not going to disrupt anything. I was like, "No, no, 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 thank you. I don't want y'all covering up anything. No, you can't come in there and cover up nothing. I don't care how much money y'all giving me." Um, it's a hidden history museum. It celebrates Black history. And when you bring your ass in there, I want them Black monuments looking at your ass. Don't cover them up. I want them to see what the hell you doing. No, I don't want you covering nothing up. Uh, y'all come in there and acknowledge that damn history. Because what it was, some of that stuff is probably a little sensitive for them. Let it be sensitive. Let it be sensitive. You're not going to cover up nothing. Just come on in here and look at that damn history and let it touch your soul or whatever, but you're not going to come in there covering up nothing. Yeah? We have to learn how to put our foot down as far as that kind of stuff. Because the thing is, man, a lot of people like to piggyback on our foundational Black American struggles for visibility for themselves. See, they wait till Juneteenth becomes mainstream and then they start inserting their own little cultural symbols. That's not about solidarity, that's strategic parasitism. They understand, look, our lineage and us respecting our lineage and centering our lineage, that's getting traction internationally. You understand? So now people are just doing what they always do. Anything we get popping, well, we gotta leech onto it. Everybody has to try to find a way to leech onto it without having to contribute to that foundational fight. You see, now you want to ride the wave and you didn't put in the damn work. You didn't put in the struggle. We and our lineage, they had to sacrifice, they had to suffer, they had to put blood, sweat, and tears in the game so that their children, us, could stand out here and survive. And we carry that DNA of trauma and resilience. So we don't get to, I mean, we don't share that with people who didn't put in the work. You just sit back on the sidelines and recognize, pop your collar, and give praise, but don't latch your shit onto it. No disrespect. Just don't try to do all this co-opting stuff. You see? We don't go down to the Caribbean Day Parade and try to force soul food on everybody. We go down there, get us a chicken patty and some jerk chicken, and we celebrate and give you props. But when it comes to us, every time we have a Juneteenth celebration, somebody show up with some oxtails and jollof, and saltfish and aki, and it turns into something else. Then they throw in Afro beats. I saw some shit where they had a Juneteenth celebration, I think somewhere in Dallas, and they were gonna have some Afro beats and Jollof. Yeah. So yeah, listen, our foundational Black American holidays, we're not gonna let these folks make it seem like it's just public property when other stuff is guarded. They try to look at our culture, foundational Black American culture, as like an open source. Well, everybody else's culture, they fiercely protect their culture. Remember Jorvay? Michael B. Jordan tried to have a liquor called Jorvay. All them damn Trinidadians stood up and said, hell no, that's ours. We're keeping that same energy. Don't tell us we're divisive. We're keeping the same energy you have. Don't bring no damn jerk chicken and jollof over here while we're celebrating Juneteenth. Ain't got nothing to do with it. You understand? We're not playing that game. Nobody Africanizes all these other holidays. They ain't doing all that stuff for Memorial Day and Veterans Day and all that other stuff. But yeah, when it comes to us, everybody has to put all this other stuff onto it. And the LGBT and all that, they use our movements as leverage. Because see, foundational Black American movements, we have high moral currency in America. And a lot of these other groups, they want to co-opt that moral standing to elevate their own causes. So yeah, the I think they chose Pride Month. This to be Pride Month so they can undermine Juneteenth. They always throw in all of these mixing of colors, the rainbow colors. And I saw some shit one time. It was Juneteenth. I was at some store, whatever, and it was some. They had Juneteenth with some transgender colors. Like, come on, man. We're not doing that. We're not doing that because the white LGBT community, they're real slick with that, by the way. On a side note, they're very, very slick. They're extremely slick with that. We got to watch that because, see, our struggles, they're rooted in tangible oppression. It's not some abstract identity politic thing. See, our foundational Black American milestones, they're grounded in historic documented atrocities, slavery, lynching, Jim Crow, redlining, police brutality. These are visible, measurable, and undeniable things that happen. Now, the white LGBT, their stuff is sexual preference and identity. That's not the same. I don't like them trying to latch that stuff on what we got. Now, yeah, whatever they have that's personally meaningful, that's fine. But it don't have the same historic weight of systematic persecution. So yeah, I don't like when the white LGBT community they try to borrow the gravity and the emotional currency of our black struggling and suffering so they can legitimize their own cause. No, that has to be checked too, and I'm glad Chicago was checking them people on that. That's not cool. I ain't never thought that was cool. We made the movie Buck Breaking was calling that stuff out. You see, the moral parallels, see, those are manufactured. They're not earned. See, the white LGBT movement, they manufacture these false equivalencies, talking about them being denied a same-sex marriage license is morally equal to us getting dogs and hosepipe sicked on our asses and lynched. That's an insult. They wouldn't say that about no other people. They wouldn't say it's the same as the Holocaust. They wouldn't say that. They wouldn't disrespect the Jewish community and other communities. They feel like they can disrespect us by making those false ass equivalencies. Don't like it. That has to be called out. And the thing is, look, we fight against systematic white supremacy. The white LGBT community, they still benefit from white supremacy. Foundational Black Americans, we've never benefited from no systematic power. White LGBT, they still enjoy the privileges of whiteness. So let's get off the bullshit. That includes economic mobility, political access, protection under the law. So them attaching themselves to the foundational Black American struggle, see, that's a way for them to mask their complicity in those systems that oppress us, while they can sit up and say that they're victims too. Go watch the movie Buck Breaking. We broke all this shit down. The white LGBT, they were man, they practiced the same white supremacy. Some of them, the slave owners were LGBT. Cecil Rose over there in Africa when they were colonizing people, they were on some LGBT stuff. Yeah, so they don't get to sit here and talk about some intersectionality, and you're practicing the same oppressive system that's dominating us. No. See, we can't let people play those games. Yeah. And when they co-opt Black movements, that'll shield that white LGBT crowd and their agendas from critique. Because these white LGBT groups, they know that standing on their own moral platforms, that leads them that leaves them open for debate and criticism and rejection. Especially a lot of communities with strong religious and cultural values, see? Because they don't really have they ain't got on their own, they don't really have a moral standing. Like us, we have a moral argument. We were mistreated just for being born the wrong damn color. Yeah. Now the white LGBT, somebody don't like you because you want some bussy. Yeah, that's different. You know, that's way different. Yeah. So we can't let people conflate these these agendas, because that's a form of disrespect. And I'm not minimizing, there's LGBT folks out there, not, hey man, knock yourself out. Nobody's minimizing anything. But then when you try to latch stuff on to us, foundational Black Americans, and the warfare that's been waged on us, no, it's not. That equivalency is disrespectful. Not only incorrect, it's disrespectful. You see? And we're not playing that game no more. Because see, what happens is a lot of this symbolic confusion that starts to erode historic clarity. See, when you start infusing all of these unrelated symbols into Juneteenth, putting African maps and um, Pan African colors, red, black, and green, and then the rainbow, this and all that. See, that's meant to confuse the next generation. See, children, they see these Pan-African flags and rainbow symbolisms, and then they end up not knowing the true meaning of Juneteenth. They don't understand later on that it's a lineage-based freedom day for the descendants of freedmen. So that has to be centered. We have to center it for what it is. They ain't got nothing to do. I don't know what this African flag shit and all these. No, and nothing to do with that. Africa didn't come help us. All right. Uh, Leave that shit somewhere. Not disrespecting y'all. Africa didn't help us with nothing. So you leave them African maps, ain't got nothing to do with Juneteenth. Put a map of Texas or something if you want to be historically accurate. Nobody's beating up on you, non-FBAs, because every time we have some kind of critique of Africa or whatever, oh, you niggas hit us. No, we're getting the history straight. We're getting the damn history straight. We need historical clarity. We're not going to allow other people to rewrite our foundational Black American narratives in ways that benefit their group identity, because it ain't about you trying to get some solidarity. You start putting them African maps all over the place, and then all of a sudden, when there's a Juneteenth scholarship, the people who are getting it is Jane Unduge and um, um, Tadalish Adobo and all. You see all these little names like, hey, who are these people getting the Juneteenth scholarships? And then you look at the pictures, they got a crooked wig on and a gap tooth in their mouth, and like, wait, who is this? Hey, who is this? Yeah. It was, what was that city where they had some Juneteenth money they were giving away, and everybody had African and Latin last names. There's a bunch of Afro Latinos. All these people sit up and tell us we ain't got no culture, and the minute we get some cultural resources, they're the first goddamn people in line. Yeah, that's gonna stop. And everybody is absolutely correct in checking that nonsense. We got to stop letting people think that our struggles are just going to be communal labor. Damn that. We fight and suffer, and when something is won, just like Juneteenth recognition, everybody gets to come on in and pillage off of it. Yeah. No, we're not going to let these people reduce our foundational Black American oppression as some kind of stepping stool for their broader movements. Now, we had a very unique human rights violation. It demands reparative justice. That's what it is. And, truth be told, man, there's a real big fear of foundational Black American autonomy and gatekeeping. The fact that we have a holiday that's ours alone, there's a lot of discomfort in that. See, when we try to gatekeep and say, hey, Juneteenth, this is our holiday, this is not Pan African, it's not LGBT, they start talking about we're divisive. But look, family, don't ever forget gatekeeping, that's the thing that protects cultural integrity of something. You can't just let people remix your shit. You have to respect it by having integrity and you got to put your foot down and say, no, you're not going to do this. We're not going to celebrate it like that. No, you're not going to disrespect it. That's up to us to do that because other folks don't let us disrespect their stuff. They don't let us even represent their stuff. Yeah. Because see, a lot of people are threatened by an empowered, self-defining foundational Black American lineage. You see, that's the real problem, especially the dominant white society, because they try to get their little disrespectful digs in as well. Let me get my brother Twizzle in the building. Brother Twizzle, hop on in, sir. Brother Twizzle in the building.
What's up, real player, man?
My brother, how are you, sir?
You know me, man. If I complain, nobody will listen, man. You know what I'm saying? But you said something that just sparked me. That's why I asked the mic, man. One thing for sure, two things for certain. These do not want to give us no credibility or acknowledge on anything. We can't even have a freaking popsicle to ourselves. And it came down to when Juneteenth, remember when they made it a holiday on how the Rainbow Bright Mafia tried to have it their month, the Pride Month.
Yeah.
They hate that we have a Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? So now everybody want to include themselves in that. And worse of all, they hate that Martin Luther King is the only man that have a holiday of the month. So they've been hating on us and they can't stand that we have a little something that we can celebrate to solidify our history, our culture, and our foundation to this country. They are really pissed off our lineage fight that we on right now because that's something that they can't argue. And we gonna go all gas, no brakes on this
Oh,
because one thing for sure, two things for certain, they can't take that from us. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
So I'm gonna land my plane there and shout out to you, pimp.
Man, much respect to you, brother. Man, man, what it is. See, when we talk about Juneteenth, that centers Black liberation, not white benevolence. You see. See, Juneteenth, unlike any other holiday, that's explicitly about the end of slavery. You understand? And the ongoing struggle of foundational Black Americans getting freedom. You see? So it doesn't celebrate compromise. It doesn't praise white saviors. It basically highlights Black resistance and survival. So that makes a lot of people in the dominant society, that makes them uncomfortable because, see, that forces acknowledgement of who caused the shit and who benefited from slavery. See, the dominant white society, they want to sweep slavery under the rug and act like that shit didn't exist. They don't like to be reminded, yeah, you were an exploiter. Yeah, you didn't come over here and get nothing off no hard work. You come from a degenerate um demonic stock. And slavery reminds them of that, and they try to act like they want to act like slavery was just something that kind of happened. They never want to really take responsibility for it. That's why these white supremacists, every time they call up, what do? They start talking about, well, it was really the Jews did. It was the Jews who did it, but it wasn't me, dude. Shut up. Well, these folks are trying to have this cognitive dissonance from slavery, and that just doesn't work. They try to say, oh, Juneteenth is not really their history. Oh, no, no, no. It's a black holiday. No, no, it's slavery. We're recognizing slavery as a foundational American institution. All right. See, slavery is a foundational American institution. That was their first institution. And we were the foundational Black Americans who had to facilitate that. And we were the victims of that. We're going to make them own that. Oh, you're going to own that. And you're going to be reminded that that situation built the wealth and the infrastructure of this country. So you can try to act like it was some kind of cultural footnote separate from the American story. No, no, no. No, that's the main event. Slavery was the main event, and your asses was a part of it. And there's going to be some restitution, you see. And look, Juneteenth, that undermines the whole myth of the Civil War as a noble fight for unity. Because see, Juneteenth, that's a reminder that enslaved foundational Black Americans were not truly freed overnight with the Emancipation Proclamation. They love to sit here and like, oh yeah, we died to free you. No, it was reluctant. Y'all were very reluctant. The only, and I broke that down the other day. They didn't fight the Civil War to free us. The North was getting that ass whooped by the South, so they needed us to come in and help them win. And the part of the deal was, hey, okay, yeah, we'll give you some of that freedom if you come on and fight. And then you were reluctant to enforce our freedom. That's what Juneteenth was about. They didn't learn about their freedom until years later. You understand? Down in Galveston, Texas. So Juneteenth reveals that freedom had to be enforced with Black patience and struggle, not just federal paperwork. So that disrupts a lot of those comfortable national myths. And the holiday is now federal, but it's treated with minimal effort. You see, it's treated with like corporate tokenism, sometimes neglect. Unlike all of these other holidays like Independence Day and all of that, most white-led institutions, they don't really decorate or market or engage in national pride for Juneteenth. That's why they have to cover it up with all this bullshit. Because now this reminds you of you being complicit in the damn warfare. So you have to, well, let's put some pride stuff on there. Let's put some African stuff on there. Like I told you, family, this is, I keep telling people, I've told people for years, the white supremacists, they ain't got no problem with us talking about some Africa. They'll love us talking about Africa. Oh, they'll give you all the money for African studies. This is why it's the white people really crowbarring this African stuff in the Juneteenth. They love talking about some Africa because the blame ain't on them. They get to blame some African chiefs and, oh yeah, Africa, yeah, Wakanda. Oh yeah, Africa, Africa, Africa. When we say, hey, you know what? We ain't really African American. We're foundational Black Americans, and this is our homeland here, and it's always been our homeland. Now that's when that's a damn threat. Notice now they get to shaking in their boots when we talking like that. When we stopped talking about African, we said, you know what? Nah, no, no, no. Yeah, we keep that African stuff. This is our home here. We're taking ownership of this right here. Now these folks are trembling and acting a damn fool. They've been acting a fool ever since we've embraced our foundational Black American lineage because they look at that as a real threat. That's the real threat. And number one, when we acknowledge Juneteenth, that threatens white cultural dominance over national narratives. See, American holidays basically reinforce white historic dominance. They celebrate wars, celebrate presidents, celebrate myths of white heroism. And Juneteenth, that's celebrating Black freedom from white oppression. See, if you talk about freedom, you talk about slavery, you have to talk about the perpetrators of that. You can't have victims without a perpetrator, you see. And when you acknowledge Juneteenth, that means acknowledging not just past injustice, I'm sorry, but the current legacy of white supremacy. Yeah. But the thing is, man, we're not going to let them try to Africanize Juneteenth. We said Pan-Africanism, see that's a tool to basically get us to avoid our cultural sovereignty. And then we're not doing that. We're not doing that whatsoever. But the thing is, why do they see us as a threat? Why do they see foundational Black Americans as a threat? Well, not just us, but our unity, our cohesion, us getting codified around our lineage, because that's the real threat. We are looking at our lineage and we're getting strength from getting codified and centering our lineage and understanding that's our camaraderie. That's what ethnic groups do. They have certain lineages in order to be codified around. And now that we're getting codified around our lineage, boy, they see that as a threat. Why don't they see other groups as a threat for looking at and recognizing their lineage? Why do they see us as a threat? When they got Puerto Rican Day Parade, that's not a threat. Puerto Ricans, they celebrate. I was just in New York and there were Puerto Ricans. They had the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and there were Puerto Ricans out there with flags, and nobody had a problem. People blowing their horns and just having a good time. The Caribbean Day Parade out there in Brooklyn, nobody has a problem with that. St. Patrick's Day Parade, nobody has a problem with that. Celebrating their cultural heritage. But when we have cultural cohesion as foundational Black Americans, everybody freaks out. You know why, family? Can we get deep? Can we get deep? Well, we have a lot of people in here. Y'all retweet. We got a lot of people. But listen, our cohesion around our lineage, see, that disrupts the whole economic exploitation model. See, the American economy that was built basically on fragmenting foundational Black Americans and exploiting us from slavery, sharecropping, the prison complex, all that. So, us having a cohesive relationship with each other based on our lineage, see, that kind of ends a lot of that passive economic extraction. When we start operating as a unified block, we can start making moves and power moves as a unified block. We can withhold labor, redirect spending, demand reparations. We can create independent economic structures, starve systems that rely on Black consumption and exploitation. We can start making some damn power moves. They know that. They know when we start getting on code, we can start saying, you know what? All these little Asian nail shops or these little Asian hair shops that's been exploiting us, we're going to do something different now. Yeah. All these little Arab run stores in the hood that sells us stale food and does little janky stuff. No, we're going to do something different now as a community. Yeah, we're going to help this Black kid over here get their business going, and we're going to patronize that person because he's from our lineage. See, they're afraid we're going to start rocking like that because that's how their asses rock. You understand me? That's how they rock. That's exactly how they operate. They look out for their damn lineage. They get on code with their damn lineage. They shop and spend with their damn lineage and make sure the people in their lineage is good. They see us about to do what they're doing. Now, who are you going to exploit? You ain't got nobody to exploit now. Huh? You see? Because see, foundational Black American unity, that invalidates the whole divide and conquer tactics. See, the dominant white society, they've always used immigration and all of this other stuff to splinter the Black population. So a cohesive foundational Black American identity, that neutralizes all of those tools. Yeah. So especially when we start delineating and rejecting the symbolic gestures and we just focus on tangible lineage-based justice. And when we have that level of clarity, see that it's impossible to use black and brown and black and this. That's why the Latinos are freaking out because we ain't on that black and brown thing. We are cohesive in our delineation, so we're not jumping up with our capes for all these other groups. That's why they're crying foul right now. You know, we're acting like we got some damn sense. We're making power moves. Power, a part of power is saying no. You want to show how weak you are, just say yes to every damn thing. You want to show and flex some damn power? There's power in no. Say, nope, I'm not going over there. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I'm not going to march with you. Nope, I'm going to sit over here and chill while you handle your business. I'm not trying to harm you, but no, it's a strong no for me. You're going to have to go on there and fight yourself. We're not about to go over there and get bloodied and bruised for you. So we got to understand the power of no. You see? And these folks understand that our foundational Black American cohesion, that can shift global cultural power. See, we foundational Black Americans, we're already the global face of Blackness. Our exports, like our music, language, style, resistance, we influence every corner of the planet. And if that power is consciously organized and owned by us, see, that'll disrupt media, entertainment, fashion industries, all of these folks who basically at this point extract from our culture without giving us real compensatory justice and control. That's a threat because then we can start globally controlling our narrative. It won't be no more global damn cultural theft from us. See, when we get some FBA cohesion, that starts to spark demands for structural change, not just symbolic inclusion. See, us foundational Black Americans, we start getting unified on our lineage. We're not going to be distracted by this empty representation. You get some melanated face like a Wes Moore or one of these tethers to sit up here and like, hey, I'm Black and I'm the first Black person here. I'm the first Black. Okay, damn all that first Black symbolic stuff. What are you going to do for our lineage? That's the first thing we want to know. Well, I can't do nothing. That's the only thing gonna benefit Black people. I ain't gonna vote for no tether. I can only vote for somebody else, but not your ass. That's how we gonna roll. Yeah. So yeah, it's a whole different vibe now. Us getting codified, that takes off those psychological shackles of control from the dominant society. See, they depend on foundational Black Americans seeing themselves as broken, powerless, criminal, or dependent. See, when foundational Black Americans, we become spiritually and politically unified, we let our Majara spirit resonate. We start focusing on things like reparations, cultural sovereignty. Um, we start becoming immune to the shame-based control and the media manipulation and the identity confusion that they try to impose on us. You see, psychological liberation that leads to a cultural rebellion. You see, and the dominant society, they know that a mentally unified foundational population, foundational Black American population, us mentally unified, J. Edgar Hoover knew that was a problem. Remember, I keep saying this in the COINTELPRO papers. J. Edgar Hoover's like, hey, the biggest threat is black unity. We can't let them get energized and have some black messiah get all of them together. That's why anytime there's a black leader, they gotta attack the damn leader. Anytime they invent a black leader to attack them just to make an example out of them. That's why I say we don't need leaders. The code is the leader. You can't attack the code. And your lineage is your leader. Follow your damn lineage. You got it right there. That's your leader, your lineage. Follow your lineage and respect your lineage. You respect your lineage, follow your lineage, your ancestors are going to look out for you. Family, that's why we have a spiritual protective barrier over us. Can we get real deep? I don't think y'all want to get too damn deep. I don't want to get too damn deep in here now. No, let me get some calls in here. I'm about to get real deep. Let me talk to my brother, Great Black Shark. I might get too damn deep in here. Do I need to get deep about the spiritual thing? Family, y'all give me a thumbs up. Great Black Shark, you in here, brother?
Yes, sir, black man. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
I want to add to what you were saying and build on that briefly here, brother. One of the other things that they really terrified of is group economics and ownership becoming a traditional standard for future generations. Oh, that scares them to death because when we start thinking in terms of being producers and owners, we no longer have this habit of being a perpetual consumer. And when you shift the economics back to our people like it was during the Jim Crow era when they didn't want to deal with us, that becomes a new way forward to show a lot of our foundational Black American youth that entrepreneurship is something that you can do because it's something we have always done. And this is why they have this schizophrenia, this love-hate schizophrenia about trying to co-opt Juneteenth, because what they do is they say, okay, on one hand, we've got black fatigue. Black people have such low IQs. Okay, if that's the case, and like you always say, just follow logic. If we're really all of these things, and I want all foundational Black American youth to listen to this, if we really are all those things, then why is everybody always trying to latch themselves onto our cultural accomplishments, our intellectual property, everything about us? If we are so worthless and so low IQ, why are you always trying to attach yourself to anything that we do? So our people are in a brand new era of respecting ourselves. I'm proud of the family. We're going to stay the course, and they got to get used to it. This is the new way under the sun, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's it. I'll end.
My brother, with Great Black Shark made a great point. Family, these folks know who we are as foundational Black Americans. They know the spiritual significance that we have. I always tell people we have not just a physical ethnogenesis, we had a spiritual ethnogenesis, ladies and gentlemen. And these people understand it and they have to latch on to it somehow, some way. Everything has to be focused on foundational Black Americans. And this need to constantly denigrate and bring us down a notch. You understand? You don't do that for people who are not great. You can only bring people down who are elevated up. So where are we elevated? There's something about us that's very highbrow that they feel a need to always have to try to tear down. What the hell is it about us that they have to reach up and bring us down? We got a spiritual superiority that they recognize. Do y'all understand what I'm saying, family? The white supremacists are demonic by nature. Over here on this land, there's a battle of good and evil. Our righteous, majority spirit of justice given to us by the Most High and the demonic spirit of the white supremacist. Let's be very clear. No matter how nice some of these folks act, the white supremacist is a very demonic creature. When you see the stuff that they've done, and they've created a system based on oppressing a particular group. When we look at the stuff they did during slavery, no, they try to if your history is so embarrassing, you have to fight to take it out of schools. You have to start talking about DEI. If you so ashamed of your damn history that you can't even talk about it, you got to take it out of schools. That shows how demonic you are. You are so ashamed of your own history where you try to make it a crime to teach it. Let that soak in. They try to criminalize people from teaching what yo ass did.
Hi, I'm Mateo. Do you want to learn about Hidden Heroes? Hidden Heroes from A to Z is a cool book that tells the stories of amazing black heroes you might not know about. You'll meet inventors, you'll meet explorers, and leaders who change the world. It's fun, inspiring, and you can learn so much. Get your copy now at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. Let's discover our hidden heroes together.